Come into the garden, bring your hope and fear. The gate is open, come inside, 'cause all of life is here. That need to keep on trying creates a special something you can't sell. Growing well, growing well. It takes us all together to grow well. Some laughter, some pain, some sunshine, some rain to grow well. We're growing well. Take your pleasure and your pain, plant it in the ground. Don't ever feel you're beaten, you can turn it all around. When you put us all together, it's like a helping hand from up above.
I don't really know much. This plant here apparently isn't good.
That one there's no good, Lauren. You need to get it out.
I'm trying to get it out. But it's all tangled up with the other one. I don't know how you can get it out without, taking this other plant out. I mean, how to do that? I'll have a bit of a go with this fork, and if I can't do it, I'll just leave it. Move on to another bit.
Lauren, if you can't get it out, just move on to the borders.
The others know much more than me. I mean, we're all volunteers, but some people really know what they're doing. I let them get on with the complicated stuff.
I mean, really, to get these blossoming to their full potential, we need to think about the horticultural processes we're employing.
I like it here because things don't change. Well, the building has over the years, but the garden's seen the same, nearly the same, since I was little. I used to come here a lot when I was like 3, 4. Played here. I liked it.
Lauren,
Yes, Mum?
do you know what these flowers are?
Dandelions.
Close enough. I like them because they feel soft. And they're my favourite colour. Blue.
They're not blue.
Are they not? Oh, are you sure?
Yeah, they're yellow.
Oh, right. What a clever girl you are. First one to the big house gets an ice cream.
People still come here now. I mean, when the bar is open, there's crowds here, but not bad crowds. It's nice. It's nice. Families in the garden, in the sunshine, enjoying it. Enjoying what we've done. I don't have much purpose in life. Not really. I don't work. So this is important. Volunteering. It's a reason to get up. It's good to have a reason not to stay in bed all day. Get up. Do something. Do something.
I prescribed myself a half day off a week. I was going a bit nutty, stress I suppose. And the doctor said, you've got to slow down, so I said I will, and I did. Try this. Now this is better than any pill. Give up a bit of your time, do something useful. Nothing to do with deadlines and budgets and spreadsheets, just me and these women and my secretaries. Sorts me out better than a bucket load of Prozac.
I've been volunteering in the gardens here for, I don't know, best part of 15 years. I started once I'd retired. I used to be involved in everything. Every group was on every committee going. But when John got ill, I had to stop. Going back and forth to the hospital took up so much time. So I dropped the school governors, the art classes and this and that committees, but I never gave up this garden. I kept coming here every week to clear my head, to have some time away. I needed it, and I knew I needed it. Something to hold on to. Shall I fill up your bucket? Yeah.
Oh, and then they're really good about sending emails, thanking everyone. Oh, it makes you feel good. People saying how nice the gardens look. Sometimes people come up to us while we're out here.
Are you one of the gardeners here?
Oh, no.
Oh,
I'm just a volunteer.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for our hard work. Yeah, me and my husband were just saying how lovely it is here. What a wonderful oasis. Yeah. They're volunteers, Jeff. I know, yeah, no, I said, yeah. Thank you so much. And those roses, beautiful.
Makes you feel nice that someone's noticed. And there's the social side. I don't speak to that many people. I don't know many people. I live with my aunt. It's just me and her. So coming here is good. We work and talk a bit.
Do you want a hand with that?
It's not budging.
Ooh, like my cellulite.
Oh, and then we have tea.
Won't stop me having a slice of Brenda's banoffee pie, though.
It's my favourite bit. There's always great cake.
Oh, no, just a small bit. You're bigger than that.
It's good to talk to people. Art was my favourite subject at school. I liked just being left to it, with colours, creating something beautiful. And this is, well, not the same. It's not the same at all. Especially because I don't do the complicated stuff.
Lauren?
But I'm part of it.
Better make it quick or the pie will all be gone.
I'm part of making it beautiful. And that's something.
I've got bee balls. I know. I told my mate, I've got bee balls, and she said,
There's a cream for that.
I get a bit overexcited about my bee balls in my garden.
You do?
I mean, otherwise, it's a really ordinary place, you know. It's a 1970s bungalow, small, mostly uninteresting garden, apart from my bee balls. I'm on the register. No, not that kind of register. The IBRA bee balls register. Have you not heard of them? Bee balls.
Since you can't stop going on about them, I've looked them up.
You're going to go into Charlie Dimmock presenter style mode.
What?
Well, please keep all of your underwear in its rightful place.
Yeah. Bee bowls are a row of recesses, often in a south-facing garden wall.
The recesses look a bit like those little alcoves you see in stately homes, where there used to be a small statue, you know. Or you know, in some houses, there's a little alcove either side of the fire where people put their knickknacks. Anyway.
Each recess was big enough to hold a skep, the coiled straw hive used by beekeepers in Britain before the introduction of the modern wooden hive in the late 19th century.
Skep's a good word, isn't it? They look a bit like mini upside-down laundry baskets. You know, coils of wicker stuff with a tiny hole in the front, about 1 inch wide. That's for the bees. Apparently, my little strip of lawn used to be part of a huge apple orchard, and they'd have the bees living cheek by jowl with the apples to pollinate everything. It's pretty clever, really. I've got 6 bee balls in my wall, 2 rows of 3, one above the other.
The wall is late 18th century and would have been in the corner of an orchard.
I keep trying to imagine it with the skeps in all the bowls, and I reckon it must have been very swanky for the bees. Like an upmarket apartment block. You know, bees flying up to the wall and then saw you in here while I'm on the 2nd floor, going up, ting! Oh, it's wonderful being part of the register, though. I sent some pictures in and they authenticated them.
There's 1,591 sites around the UK.
Well, I was 1,589.
The Bee Bowl Register was set up in the 1950s by a woman called Dr. Eva Crane. And she was an amazing woman and probably the greatest writer on bees and beekeeping in the 20th century.
And they're on Twitter, @beebowls. I know. They have loads of pictures online. I put mine up. I thought about getting some skeps and some bees and seeing how they do, but my now bee expert mate didn't think it was a good idea.
So built up around here now. Lots of families. And maybe bees and small children isn't a great combination.
The wall has lots of nooks and crannies, so I've scattered wildflower seed on the ground by the wall, and I'm hoping some bees come and live in the wall anyway.
Despite the skep deficit.
Perhaps some bee will go on Who Do You Think You Are? A celebrity bee, obviously. And get the family bee tree done. And realise that this is the very wall in which her ancestors had their home, and she'll go, well, if it were good enough for great-great-great-great-great-grandma bee, then it's good enough for me. And she'll nab herself one of the nooks in the bee bowl and set up shop.
It would certainly create quite a buzz.
You're an ugly bugger, and I'm gonna get you.
You're right, Sheila.
Oh yeah, all good. Yeah.
Heading down the allotments.
Not today. I've got something to do.
There's a new person taking over old Tom's plot.
Well, good luck with the newbie. Make sure she knows the new policy.
Oh, yes.
I've got to deal with an old foe.
Right, first up on the allotment committee agenda is our new no-dig policy.
Got here today with my spade and my cup. Don't have a garden, I live 10 floors up. Don't have a clue, so I'll just have to guess. Do you dig it? Yes. Do I dig it? Yes. Do we dig it?
No!
Working on wing, it's a hell of a toil. Come here to take it all out on the soil. Work as a teacher with days full of stress. So can I dig it? I want to dig it. I've got to dig it.
Digging is declaring war.
Now Eileen has gone into some depth on this. You explain it to us. Come on, Eileen.
Soil is alive, all living together. Organic matter provides the foundation to life.
Obviously, it's a bit more complicated than that.
Day after day, I get all this at school. Wanted to come to a place with no rules. Just joined a club called the Ladies That Dig. So can I dig it?
Well,
Can I dig it?
No.
I'm gonna dig it. Otherwise, what's the bloody point?
All right. Next on the agenda, community shed.
orange nail polish. That's what I remember. Not her face. Not really. Orange nails. Like neon orange. A bit chipped, but okay, you know. I was deadheading my marigolds down the allotment and I was having a bit of a stretch. I mean, I can't keep bending these days. And I looked up and there she was. On the bridge. Looking down into the water, just stood there. I mean, sometimes people do that, don't they? They look out onto a view and take it in. And I mean, it's quite nice where we are. Our allotments are just by the canal towpath, but they're behind a wall, quite private. Eileen's put a sign on the gate, Cinder Hill allotments, trespassers will be composted. But you can see along the towpath and you can see the bridge. And she didn't seem like she was taking in the view. And it was just starting to spit a bit with rain and she still didn't move on. So I finished up and got some bits I needed to take to the bin and I walked up the steps to where I'd parked by the bridge. As I got closer, I could see her face. Now, I can't really remember her features, but that look, it was so sad. Just despair. That's what it was. Total despair. You all right, love? I said.
Yeah, fine.
I walked past towards my car. I'd asked, she'd replied. Nothing I could do. But as I walked towards my car, I felt tears coming. Like I'd caught her sadness. Such a weight. I looked back and she was still looking down into the water. She had tracky bottoms on and a white puffer jacket. But it was mucky, stained, like she'd been sleeping rough. Her hair was long and a bit scraggy, but those nails, so shiny orange. She had a handbag and 2 plastic carrier bags, and I somehow felt, well, I knew, that they were her only possessions. I went back. Look, you're obviously not all right.
I am. I'm fine.
And she walked away and down the steps to the towpath and walked on. I'd love to tell you that I somehow managed to strike up a conversation with her, made her laugh, took her for a cup of tea in a local cafe and then offered her our spare bed for the night, but I didn't. But I didn't just get in my car and go either. I called the police. I didn't know what else to do. And then I headed back down to the allotment so I could keep an eye on her till the police came. Oh, the poor marigolds. I dead-headed everything, even the ones that were fine. She paced up and down the towpath and I waited for the police to come. It's probably only about half an hour, but it felt like it went on for days. I was so on edge. Should I go and speak to her? What if I scared her off again? I was hoping I'd feel good, but I hid among the compost and Julie next door's sweet peas and watched for the glimpse of her dirty white coat pacing up and down the towpath. But I didn't feel good. I felt like I'd shocked her. And when 2 blokes turned up, I wished I hadn't called them. I thought, she'll see them and feel scared.
We'll take it from here.
They said, and headed down to her. And I headed back to the car and felt awful. I mean, perhaps I'd stopped her from jumping in if that's what she'd been thinking of doing, but I'd only delayed it, not solved it. The police rang up later, told me she had been living rough, but she had somewhere to stay that night with a friend and they'd taken her and dropped her off.
She'll be warm and dry tonight,
He said. Well, I suppose that's better than standing on a cold towpath in the rain. I've decided that we're going to have a meeting place in our allotment. Somewhere that people can sit and have a chat.
We can have workshops and stuff there too.
John suggested getting a shed.
A shed? I think we can do better than that.
So we're trying to get money together for a kind of covered space. So if I see the lady with the neon nails, I can say, come and have a brew and warm up. And we can chat. And she can know that she's not alone.
You know when something's been niggling at you? For ages, just chipping away, and then you finally snap. Well, it'd been giving me an itch I had to scratch. I'd left it and left it. You know, I thought, hey, be practical. You may as well just leave it. I left it. But yesterday, well, he were looking at me funny. Like he was saying, oh yeah, I'm an ugly bugger me and you can do nought about me because I'm concrete and I'm a bastard. And I thought, I'm not having some horrible concrete path telling me what's what and spoiling my beautiful garden. My garden that I've worked so hard on my raised beds with my petunias and my succulent rockery. And I'm not boasting, but my wisteria's second to none. So I thought, I'm not having it. So I marched to the garden shed, grabbed the pickaxe and wham! Pickaxe to its concrete heart, over and over again. That bastard didn't know what hit it. But it were me. Well, it had been asking for it, and to be honest, I enjoyed every moment of it. Well, once I was spent, and it were lying there like some sort of 1,000-piece jigsaw, That's when I started to feel me age. It took bloody ages carting the bits in the wheelbarrow, but it's gone now. And good riddance. I'll get some grass seed down, and by next summer you'll never know there was a path there. And we'll have a barbecue to celebrate my birthday. You are? Oh, I'll be 86.
Do I look like I know what I'm doing? I don't. It's only my second time doing this. And it seems that Morecambe Bay is not the treasure trove you'd think. Oh, unless you're really into bottle caps. But I have to say, when it beeps, oh my God, optimism over experience wins every time. And as I dig down, I keep thinking, this time. Ooh. Right. Hang on. Bottle cap. Fanta. Circa 1992. And my dad's poorly. Like, proper poorly. And he said,
Here's some cash.
but Dad,
While I'm still alive to see you spend it.
Dad,
Buy something that you'd normally think was a frivolous thing to spend your money on. Something just for you.
well, I knew what I wanted straight away. Like Harry Potter wanted his Nimbus 2000, I wanted one of these. Oh, I wanted one when I was 10. My brother got one, but when I asked...
Sorry, they're not for girls, those.
Why?
Well, because, anyway, I'll get you a bike with pink handlebars.
Oh. So thusly... To be honest, I need to get permission to detect somewhere better. I saw there's a Mott and Bailey castle at Holton, maybe 12th century. Must be loads of history there, eh? Oh! Bottle cap.
This rain is doing my head in. But look, if you look over there, just over that hill there, that one with the sheep on, well, there's a glimmer of sun there, just behind the cloud. I stuck my finger in the air and I reckon the wind's coming from there, so hopefully the sun is coming this way. Slowly. It bloody better do. That wall ain't going to build itself. I mean, I've dug it out and I've laid all the main stones out and I've got the packing ready to go. But I can't build a dry stone wall from inside the van, can I? Not even I'm that good.
The clouds have come in and the rain starts to fall. There's a shimmer of mist on the heather. It's a break from the sun and I'm so nearly done, in despite of the wind and the weather.
So now I'm playing a waiting game. I could go back out and get on with it, get it done and dusted, and get absolutely soaked through to the skin in the next 5 minutes, or wait it out in the smelliest van in the world and hope that it passes. I mean, it really does stink in here. Jodie borrowed it with the dogs yesterday. From the smell, they've gone and had a dip in the canal. Bloody hell.
I'm a waller by trade, my best stones are all laid, and I'd rather be out here than in. For my husband back home is no less than this stone, for he's jealous and brooding as sin.
At least the van was nearby. I mean, I remember when I did that wall up in Barrow a couple of years back, I couldn't get the van anywhere near. The hill were that steep. I think I lost about 2 stone on that job. All that tramping up the hill. Jeff weren't pleased. He thought I was losing weight so I could run off with another man. He never liked me walling. He was always suspicious. What's a woman want with building stuff, he'd whinge on. Sat on his arse. His great big fat arse. Why don't you do something with women?
He thought I were mixing with Stephen O'Rourke. Thought my work it were all a disguise. So I'll tell you verbatim of his ultimatum, which he told me with rage in his eyes.
Jane from next door reckoned he's worried about you being surrounded by all those burly men and a bit of the green-eyed monsters. Good for a marriage, isn't it? A bit. He was jealous of me having my own life, more like.
What do women want with a building of walls? There'll be something you're hiding, I fear. You say 'tis your calling, well 'tis me or the walling. Then he went back to drinking his beer.
He hated me for not being at his beck and call. I mean, I was off for weeks at a time repairing walls all over the place. But 9 times out of 10 I was on my Todd, stuck halfway up a hillside with nothing but a handful of Aberdeen Angus for company. But he wouldn't listen. 28 years we were married, 28 years, and then he demands, after I just cooked a Sunday roast for the two of us, he says, while shoveling Yorkshire pudding into his gob in front of Antiques Roadshow, he said, "You got to choose, Kath. It's me or the wall."
Well, I didn't need time. You can whistle, I cried. I'm not waiting at your beck and call. Between bricks and a clown, well, the stone wins hands down. And I told him that I chose the wall.
I reckon I'd packed me bag before the gravy were cold. He got it into his head that I was in love with Simon Warren, the singing waller. Of course I wasn't in love with him. I mean, I admired his work, of course. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, I can still spot one of Simon's walls at 100 paces. Such precision. It's an art form. I mean, not everyone knows that. And yes, I was flattered when he sang "I'll Take You Home Again, Kathleen" at the Dry Stone Wall at AGM that Christmas. Because he has got a lovely deep baritone. But it wasn't love. Not at all. Obviously not. I mean, we're just colleagues. And I haven't seen him now for a good couple of years. He lost his Margaret and I didn't want to intrude. Didn't want to be one of them single older women coming round with casserole pots. Though weirdly, he did poke me on Facebook just yesterday. Said he'd seen a wall in Keswick that he could swear down was one of mine. It was too. It's funny how you can spot someone else's work if you look hard enough. If you actually appreciate the real-life artistry in the open, rather than being sat glued to the sofa watching Fiona Bruce banging on about Clarice Cliff. I messaged Simon back, sent him pictures of my wall. He gave me the thumbs up emoji. I have to say, that made my day. I mean, a thumbs up from Simon Warren is like a handshake from Paul Hollywood. Golden. Like this sun. Oh, you beauty. Right, better get back to it. Reckon I've got a good couple of hours before I have to get back and get changed. Need to give myself a good scrub to get this doggy van smell off me. At least I won't have to drive to the restaurant. Simon said he'd pick me up in a minicab.
So 3 years down the track, and I never looked back.
It's not far.
Silly sot, I don't miss him at all.
But he said you both might fancy a drink.
And now I go to work with young Stephen O'Rourke.
Glass of something fizzy.
And he's filled all the gaps in me wall.
I think we might.
Oh, I still haven't found anything better than a bot carpet yet. But being by the beach, doing this, it helps. Oh, the terrible thing that we'd been hoping wouldn't happen did. My dad passed away. I don't know if you've had anyone close to you die, but as well as the terrible sadness, it also somehow puts everything into perspective. And for a while you don't get scared by the little things because you go, okay, well it may be bad, but it's not going to be as bad as losing Dad. And obviously, it's a kick up the arse about life being short. So I am going to embrace having no responsibilities and being single. I've bought a red VW camper van and I'm going to travel and go detecting and meet people and live my life.
Ting!
Oh, and I've joined a local detectoring group, Baywatch. They do handy posts about local...
Hi, I've just bought a metal detector and I don't know how to use it.
Sounds like me 2 months ago.
I've also got permission next to a Mott and Bailey castle with a wood and a beck running through it. Joe.
Oh. Is that the Mott and Bailey Castle at Holton? I mean, it'd be a bit of a coincidence, but...
Ting! It might be. Wink emoji.
Cheeky. Okay, I'll show you how to use the detector if you allow me in on the permission. And that'll be the end of that. Detectives are very wary about letting anyone...
You're on. See you at the castle. Sunday 10 a.m, Joe.
Oh. Sunday? I mean, I've got a lot on. What with work and clearing out the house and the Archers omnibus is on.
Ting! Actually, could we say 11:30? I have to go to Ambridge at 10. So, now that you've been round the mansion house, let's take you around the wonderful ornamental gardens. We call it a secret garden, not because it's difficult to find, but because there is a secret contained within the garden walls. Dick Turpin, the dastardly highwayman, is said to have come through the gardens on his way back from a robbery. He was laden down with jewels and gold and didn't want the local sheriffs to catch him with the loot, so he hid it within the grounds.
Is that true?
Some thought he might have stowed it within the depths of the ornamental fountain, but that was searched thoroughly. In fact, you can see a hole in the bottom of the mermaid's tail. Here, do you see? Where the authorities broke the sculpture because they thought that was his hiding place. Then if we head over to the walled garden, you'll see in the back wall several little alcoves. So do you know what those little recesses in the 18th century wall are called? Little recesses there. Anyone know what they're called? Beebles! Yes, beebles. Yes, and do you know what lives in there, in the beebles? Oh, bees. Yes, that's true. And do you know, a slightly more tricky question, what the hives are called that were put in here that are made of wicker? Does anyone know? Skeps! Yes! Do you know? I've been a tour guide here for 10 years and no one has ever known that. No, and you are an educated bunch, yes. Anyway, it is said that Dick Turpin put his loot into one of the skeps, but when they were searching for the loot, several of the king's men were attacked.
Oh, they were attacked by bees.
And one man fatally so. So Dick Turpin really did get away with midnight robbery. But if you want to see daylight robbery, follow me now as we head to our artisan cafe and heritage farm.
I love to dig. Well, when I say dig, I mean scrape. That's what it mostly involves when you're on a dig. Scraping. For hours on end. Well, it sounds boring, but it's not. It's sort of meditative.
Remember to keep alert, Lucy. You're looking for changes in the soil, colour, changes in texture, and anything unusual, as well as the actual antiquities, Roman or otherwise.
So yeah, it's meditative, not sleepy. I've had a few good finds. A Victorian ale tap, which whenever I look at it makes me fancy a pint, honestly. A big hefty belt buckle that seemed to have been lost inside a dry stone wall. I mean, how could that even happen? And my favourite find, a Roman coin from Emperor Elagabalus period.
You showing off about your coin again?
Yes, I am.
Elagabalus? Hardly an emperor at all. He was only in charge for a couple of years.
Which makes the find all that more unusual.
He was unusual.
It's just ahead of his time. It said, when he was emperor, he offered to pay huge sums of money to anyone who could turn him into a woman. Yeah. You don't think of there being trans people 3,000 years ago, do you? And if you read the wrong papers, you'd think it was some modern fad. But Elagabalus would like to beg different. Must have been tricky. Everyone thought he was mad.
Which is why they killed him.
Poor sod.
I don't feel sorry for him. He was a tyrannical mass murderer.
Well, yeah, that too. Perhaps he was just misunderstood.
Or he was a tyrannical mass murderer.
But he had one saving grace. He is said to have invented the whoopee cushion.
Yeah. Probably why he got assassinated.
Scrape, scrape, scrape. Brush, brush, brush. Sometimes you just need to get away from your real life, from thinking too much on bad stuff. Bad stuff you can't change. It's perfect therapy. Outside, no one asks about home life, how you're feeling and all that. Just,
Do you want a biscuit?
oh, what are you to dig into?
Times I need to escape from the things on my mind. Fear of what is to come and of things left behind.
Do you know what these flowers are? Dandelions. I like them because they feel soft. And they're my favourite colour. Blue.
I time travel. Time travel. When my world unravels, I time travel.
Orange nail polish. That's what I remember. Not a face, not really. Orange nails like neon orange. A bit chipped. Okay, you know?
When this world is unsafe, when I can't find my place, I hear words in my ear, voices
You see, I've progressed from Fanta bottle caps. A pewter, potentially medieval button that Joe and I found at the castle. When I first got there that Sunday, in my new red VW camper, I parked alongside another red VW camper, Joe's. We've been coming here most Sundays ever since. It was a few weeks before I admitted, over a Twix and a flask of coffee, that I realised we'd actually been chatting on a dating site about 10 years before.
I thought you didn't remember. And you've got chocolate on your cheek.
And then Joe kissed it away. Well, that was 3 months ago. And now I've been presented with this button, our first proper find, bound onto a circle of gardening wire.
I was hoping I might uncover a ring of some sort, but
Oh, we never did. So, we're putting our detectors in my camper and heading straight up to Gretna Green. It's funny how a pewter button can suddenly seem as precious as the biggest solitaire. To be honest, I wouldn't have even minded if it was a Fanta bottle cap. Thanks, Dad.
I've got my finds back from the tent now, all washed and shiny. Elagabalus is looking good. The ale tap is clean enough to provide me with a pint of your finest ale barman, and that belt buckle's come up a treat. The others aren't interested, but I like the ordinary stuff. The everyday stuff that people leave behind. I'm not a womble. They reckon the buckle's 19th century. Still don't know how it got into a dry stone wall. I presume when they were building it. Maybe it was hot. Can't think why else you'd be taking off your belt while you're building a wall. It's got a name scratched on it. Stephen O'Rourke. Come into the garden, bring your hope and fear. The gate is open, come inside, 'cause all of life is here. That need to keep on trying creates a special something you can't sell.
Diantha's always lovely, flocks will bring good cheer. Don't mess with digitalis, you'll find her insincere. But put them all together, you'll find that they all are growing well.
Growing well. Oh, you'll find that they all are growing well. Now. Growing well. Growing well. It takes us all together to grow well. Some laughter, some pain, some sunshine, some rain to grow well. We're growing well.
Petunia's resentment is something you should fear. Be sure to plant some zinnia for those no longer here. The lightness of Oxford gardenia to find some secret love.
Take your pleasure and your pain, plant it in the ground. Don't ever feel you're beaten, you can turn it all around. When you put us all together, it's like a helping hand from up above. Yes, put us all together, it's like a helping hand from up above.
You can call it love.
Growing well. Growing well, growing well. It takes us all together to grow well. Some laughter, some pain, some sunshine, some rain to grow well. We're growing well, growing well, growing well. It takes us all together to grow well. Some laughter, some pain, some sunshine, some rain to grow well.
We're going well.
Oh no!